Okay, I want to give you two different scenarios. All right, so here's the first scenario. You're working really hard. You've been going for 2, 3 days in a row, and you're doing everything you can. You're trying to just work yourself to the bone. You're staying up late. You're getting up early. You're doing all these things. And then you look at your list, and there's still tons of things that need to be done. You're overexcited. Your energy's up. Your stress level is up. Your emotions are high. You're sweating. You're exhausted. That's the first scenario. Second scenario is this. You're sitting there and you're thinking about something that has to happen. And you're thinking about the work that needs to be done or the report that needs to be done and handing it in and turning it in and what's going to be, how's it going to be perceived? How's it going to be looked at? Is it going to be something that is looks that you've done hard work, or is it something that's going to look like you've, kind of sloughed off for weeks? So you have this high emotions, you're sweating, you're almost getting incapable of doing anything because of this feeling. Now, those two scenarios have very similar outcomes of overexcited, sweating, tired, whatever those things, those emotional trigger things, whatever, but they're two very different things. One is a stress response and being stressed over something you're doing or the work you have to do. The other one is anxiety. And there's a huge difference between stress and anxiety. And a lot of times we think they're the same thing, but they're not. They're not even close except for what they do to our body. Now, here's the thing. Stress is based on external things that are happening to us. We have work to do. We have deadlines to get done. We have different things that we are doing daily. We got to take care of the kids. We got to get the trash out. We got to do this report. That is giving us stress. It causes us to be emotionally high triggered. It causes us to, sweats and have that over the top emotional responses and unable to almost control. And a lot of times what happens is over time, we end up shutting down. We end up failing because we let the stress get the best of us. We get burnout. We might start lashing out at people. We might start doing all these things that stress induced behavior. Now let's talk about anxiety. See, anxiety is very different because anxiety is not so much external things, it's internal things. It's thinking of outcomes of things that we're doing, not doing, failing to do, and it starts giving us this anxiety that builds up, which heightens our emotions, gets us to the point where we're stressed out, but we're not stressed as it is, we're anxious. We start looking over our shoulder, we start sweating, we start doing these things, not sleeping. We start becoming irritable, we start lashing out at people because our anxiety, and the outcome of that is usually burnout, and then we recoil and we hide and we just fail to do anything. So even though stress and anxiety are very different in how they are, internally, they're very much the same in how we respond. So I want to give you some hints. I want to give you some helps on how to deal with stress and how to deal with anxiety. Let's talk about stress here first. One of the main things with stress usually goes around we have too much work, we have too much piled up on our shoulders, and we need a break, we need help. And that's the first thing is usually when we're high stressed is that we actually need help. We actually need someone to come in and either encourage us, walk with us, help us to get over the emotional part of the things, but also maybe even take some of the burden off and lighten our load. Okay, so putting together a group of people or a friend or someone who can come along and help us when we're dealing with high stress and high stress situations is a huge thing. There's nothing like when you're going through a high stress situation, you have someone helping you, walking you through something, talking you through something, and helping you get through that problem. The second thing with stress is maybe you need to cut back on what you're doing. Now, I know sometimes that's impossible. I know sometimes there's the kids and the job and the reports and the parents and the grandparents and all the things that have to go around, which causes stress. I understand that. But there are some times when we can look at the things that are causing us stress and start cutting some of those things out of our life, start removing those things from our life so they're not causing us stress anymore. I had a situation the other day and was with my son, and he was having a problem with his key fob. He's had a problem with his key fob for what, 2 months? And it was causing him stress. And he was like, oh, it's not that bad. But he kept talking about it and kept getting irritated. Every time we'd had to stop, or every time we get out of the car, he would get fussy with it. So I popped open the key fob, found the battery, went and got the battery, replaced the battery, boom, that stressor was removed. Sometimes it's good to have a person there and be able to just remove that thing that's causing you stress. And the third thing is sometimes we might have to step back and make a plan to deal with the things we're dealing with. A lot of times we think we got it. That's a phrase. People who are highly stressed, the phrase they usually say is, I got it. I got this. It's no biggie. I got this. Guess what? You don't got it. That's why you're stressed. So what you need to do is come up with a plan, come up with a process in place so that you can start putting those things in order and putting those things in a workable, manageable format so that you can do them easier, lowers your stress. For me, I was struggling with doing multiple things. I love starting a project and finishing a project all at once. Well, that was not working because sometimes I needed to do 5 or 6 things through the day. So I started realizing, hey, I'm going to have to take my project. I'm going to have to do a little bit today, a little bit tomorrow, a little bit the next day. And by Friday, it's done instead of trying to get it all done at once. So those are 3 things to help with stress. Anxiety. So here's the thing with anxiety is all internal. Anxiety is between this spot and this spot. So the first thing we really need to do is make sure that we're being healthy in our bodies. Helping with anxiety, watch your diet, watch your sleep patterns, watch the things that you're putting into your body as in your entertainment. These things will affect how your body operates and also how your body processes. And this is a big thing of anxiety, is it's here and here. Okay? So that's number 1. Number 2, you got to be able to talk about it. You got to be able to get it out of your brain. A lot of times, people who have anxieties and stuff, they never get it out of their brain and they just keep ruminating. They think they're the only ones. They isolate themselves. They go in this cycle of anxiety. It's so much better. Just get the information out. Go to somebody, get some help, talk to somebody who might be able to bounce things back and forth. Get it out. If you don't have a person, journal. Write the stuff down. Get it out of your mind and put it down on paper. Get it out in Word. Let others know, even if it's a journal, let others know, okay, so that you're not just cycling over and over and over again. Because honestly, it's fine, I can overcome this, doesn't mean you're going to overcome it. It just means you're going to put yourself in a situation where the anxiety is just going to keep ramping up. And the third thing with anxiety is you got to be able to forgive yourself and to realize you're not the only one. You're not the only one that's struggling with certain things. And be able to forgive yourself and go, it's okay for me to take this baby step. It's okay for me to not do that. It's okay for me to not do this today, but tomorrow I will. And that is a huge thing. with dealing with anxiety. And then the last thing, it was the thing I just mentioned, is you got to go, I'm going to continue to try. I'm going to continue to move forward. I'm going to continue to take a baby step. Doesn't have to be running. It could be stepping, small steps, but I'm going to keep moving forward and dealing with this anxiety. All right, guys, I know this was a long one today, but for some reason, I've been talking to some folks, and this whole concept of stress and anxiety kind of came up, and I was like, you know what? This is a good topic to talk about. So I hope you enjoy it. If you do, if you deal with stress, you deal with anxiety, I'd love to hear some of those comments and some of the things that you're doing to overcome that. Love to hear that in the comments. Please like, subscribe, and I appreciate you so much and love you very much. And I'll see you again soon. Love you. Bye.